Hello and welcome. I am Ladi Akeredoluwale. Tonight, Christian Association of Nigeria demands the country's exit from all religious organizations as Muslim groups seek people-centered policies from the APC-led administration during a meeting with Mr. President. Court nullifies suspension of Senator Ali Ndume from the upper legislative chamber, orders prompt payment of his outstanding salaries and allowances. High Court in Lagos again dismisses application by alleged kidnapper Chukwudememe Onwamadike to quash murder and other charges against him. And U.S. President Donald Trump and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping clash over the future of global trade at APEC Summit in Vietnam.
And on business news tonight, capital and financial market experts examine the expectations and impact of the 2017 and 2018 budgets on the Nigerian economy.
And on sports news tonight, French side Olympique Marseille sacked Patrice Evra after UEFA banned him for kicking a fan.
And from Abuja, Liberian President Erling Johnson Sirleaf gets highest honor from the Imo State government, signed MOU with the Rochester Korota Foundation in Owerri.
We begin from the nation's capital, Abuja, where the president received some Christian and Muslim leaders who paid him a courtesy visit at the presidential villa today. The Christian leaders from the Christian Association of Nigeria are asking the federal government to pull Nigeria out of all religious organizations, check rising cases of herdsmen attack, and recruit more policemen to beef up security across the nation. The Islamic leaders on their part admonished the president to ensure fairness and pay attention to the yearnings of Nigerians and want him to remain just to all groups in the country. After the meeting, the religious leaders spoke with State House correspondents on the meeting with the president and his commitment to address issues of injustice and security in the country.
Citizens that are religious, where Nigeria presently is a member and signed treaties, the governments will pull out of them in order to keep the sanctity of the Constitution. We also advise the government to make sure that the issue of asthma is squarely addressed, and the president responded in the affirmative that it was as a result of the end of Gaddafi over there. People that they had given guns to moved down south, and some of them infiltrated into our country. And they mix with the normal herdsmen that we used to have, and they are menacing the entire community. But since the government also knows that it's a problem, we believe that more attention will be paid into doing something to stop that.
Governance is for all, and that we should be seen to really be having this type of meetings in order to counsel him and advise him, and also for us to have an opportunity to tell him from the non-governmental quarters some of the feelings of the people, so that he can cross-check and compare with what he gets from the government quarters in order to see whether he's been given the correct information or not, so that the common man will really feel the change that this government is for.
To legal matters now, it's justice at last for the senator representing Borno South Senatorial District in the National Assembly, Ali Ndume, as a federal high court in Abuja today nullified his suspension from the Red Chamber since March 2017. In a judgment delivered by Justice Babatunde Quadri, the court ordered the Senate to reinstate Senator Ndume and ordered the Senate leadership to ensure the prompt payment of Ndume's outstanding salaries and allowances. Justice Quadri adds that the suspension was an exhibition of lawlessness on the part of the Senate because it was unlawful for the leadership to have suspended Senator Ndume in the first place. Senator Ndume was suspended by the Senate on March the 30th after he drew the leadership's attention to media reports that the Senate's invitation of the Comptroller General of Customs, Hamid Ali, was in respect of the seizure of a vehicle imported for Senator Saraki with forged papers and the controversy over Senator Dino Melaye's academic qualifications. Meanwhile, Senator Ali Ndume says the verdict of the Federal High Court, which declared his suspension as illegal, has vindicated him and confirmed his earlier position that the Senate has no right to suspend a member for more than 2 weeks. Briefing journalists in Abuja after the court verdict, Senator Ndume says his belief in the unfairness of his suspension by the Senate prompted him to approach the court for a declaratory judgment. He also confirmed that before the judgment, the Senate had written him, informing him of his resumption on November the 15th.
My suspension was not right in the first place. I didn't do anything to warrant my suspension. So, but if it is vindictiveness or vengeance, then appeal on a declaratory judgment will now prove that that is vindictiveness. Otherwise, something that you are not supposed to do, that's what the court says, and it's a declaratory judgment. It's not that it's not a judgment. The court has said that the Senate has no right to do what it did. So if they appeal, I won't be surprised, but I will be disappointed. What has happened has happened. I can't reverse the days. I have spent 7 or 8 months now out of the National Assembly. I can't reverse that, but it will be on record that what they did was wrong. And as I said, I'm not. That's why I'm hoping to be in the chamber on Wednesday.
Still on legal matters, suspected kidnap kingpin Chukwudumeme Onwamadike, popularly known as Evans, has denied allegations of kidnapping and demanding the sum of $2 million ransom for one Silvanus Hafia. Evans and his co-defendant, Victor Aduba, today pleaded not guilty to a 4-count charge of conspiracy, kidnapping, and unlawful possession of weapons made against them by the Lagos State government. They were arraigned after 2 applications by Evans' counsel, Mr. Olukoya Ogungbeje, to quash the charges were dismissed by Justice Oluwatoyin Taiwo. The court ruled, amongst others, that a proof of evidence attached by the prosecution had established a prima facie case against Evans and Aduba. Evans' counsel also informed the court of his intention to challenge this decision at the Court of Appeal. An attempt by the Lagos State government to arraign Evans and 3 others on a second charge bordering on murder of 2 persons and the attempted murder of the chairman of the Young Shall Grow Motors, Mr. Vincent Obianodo, was however not successful. This was due to the fact that the prosecution had amended the charges against the defendants. The court upheld Mr. Ogungbeje's contention that this had made the charge irregular. Benue State Governor Samuel Otom is citing the need for him to consolidate the ongoing implementation of the open grazing prohibition law as his reason for seeking re-election in 2019. The governor explains that he is more concerned about the long-term benefits of security and development derivable from the anti-grazing law for sustainable peace. He was speaking in Makurdi, the state capital, during a call for him to seek re-election from a cross-section of Benue Northwest and Benue South groups. Meanwhile, in Benue State, more support is, in Anambra State, more support is coming the way of Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano as the governorship elections get closer. The heavy rain did not stop the Anambra Market Traders Association from rallying support for the governor as he seeks re-election for a second term in office. The traders are not only adopting the governor as their candidate, they're also assuring him of a block vote at the polls.
It's a carnival-like atmosphere at the Chuba Ibazu Stadium in Onitsha, the commercial capital, as Anambra State traders drum up support for Governor Willie Obiano as he bids to keep his seat in the November 18 governorship poll. The governor arrives at the venue to an enthusiastic reception. It's not a victory celebration because the person for whom the birthday cakes are laid out is physically absent. The event also marks the 6th posthumous birthday of the Abga late leader, Chief Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu. His widow is flanked by the incumbent governorship candidate and other party leaders.
And so all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace.
Then things take an unexpected turn as the rains hammer the gathering with intense fury, sending the people scampering for shelter. But even the forces of nature are insufficient to dampen the spirit of the governor's supporters for a second term.
That we will mobilize our traders, all traders in Anambra State, to vote for you massively. Celebration of victory. Election, I didn't win the goalie. So everybody that made that ball, all the man was there, all the man Patapa, all the Sumafia, or the crowd was the police was now for Africa. Because dominate to our vote, to slow the vote, all the one by in there. We can't get back now. I didn't know the first 10 million. I can make the second 10 million, and every year I can choose your project.
It's just a week to the Anambra governorship election, but come rain or shine, it's the people who will determine whether or not Willie Obiano will fulfill these promises.
Development must always take precedence over and above partisan politics for the federal and state governments to achieve sustainable progress. That's according to the River State Governor, Nyesom Wike, when APC-PDP caucus members of the House of Representatives visited him in Government House, Port Harcourt, River State. The governor, who had been on a 2-week foreign trip, had to also get back to work immediately upon arrival. Our correspondent, Emmanuel Erei, reports.
Just arriving after a 2-week trip to the United States and United Kingdom, where he received an award for his contribution to achieving sustainable cities, it's now time for the River State Governor, Nyesom Wike, to get back to work as he makes a stopover at a project site at Garrison in Port Harcourt, the state capital. And then political differences are set aside for the moment, as River State lawmakers and the House of Representatives from both the APC and the PDP visit the government house together.
We have come here today to welcome you back from your trip abroad. A trip where you have represented River State very well. You've made River State to be in the global news for close to 2 weeks. We also want to congratulate you, Your Excellency, for the various successful meetings you had with investors and the media in the course of your trip, including the famous Financial Times.
Those of us that are members of the APC caucus, jointly with the PDP, called the Rivers Caucus in the House of Representatives, without mixing words, we've seen what you are doing, and of course, I can stand boldly before any person, even the national chairman of my party, to say that you are doing well in your Rivers.
For the governor, political parties are mere vehicles.
We are talking about development of River State. We are not talking about development of parties. And so we must work as a team, irrespective of the political party we belong to. And commend you from the APC that you see us as brothers. We're all friends. That is what politics is all about. Politics is not a fight between any individual. It's an interesting. So very cool for us to go to where we are going to. Having gotten to that stage, we'll say, party go hold on, let's do the work we're supposed to do. And I can assure you, I will not see you as members of APC I will see you as Rivers people who are defending the interests of Rivers State.
Everyone appears to be on the same page that the pace of development in the country will be faster if politicians rise above the sentiments of partisanship.
In part two, after the break, NLC insists sacking of 21,000 teachers by the Kaduna State government is illegal. Please stay on with us.